Ladies and gentlemen, now it's that super exciting time at the start of every single month where we get to talk about everybody's favourite, slightly controversial Google spreadsheet, my Marvel Contest of Champions tier list. And I'm always so excited to read the hundreds of comments telling me how wrong I am about certain champions and how I know absolutely nothing about this game. However, today we're going to be talking about Spider-Ham. And overall in December, there was lots of content. We had Variant 6 and also the release of Act 7. I think for stuff like Variant 6, the characters you kind of expected to be good, like Magneto, Omega Red, Ghost, Void, Doctor Doom, were just absolutely insane for that variant. And also Venom is just a friggin' cheat code for that variant and so many others as well. So yeah, I think the tier list for that variant held up pretty well, man. A lot of the solid God tier and beyond God tier champions just absolutely destroyed that variant. But also when it comes to some of the slightly more quirky chapters, again, the 2-star Rhino Cheese in the Unstoppable chapter is very, very fun. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into today's update and breakdown, standard tier list disclaimer that this is a rough guide to what I personally believe overall on a comparative spectrum are the best characters in Marvel Contest of Champions. The game is incredibly complicated. There's about 200 characters in Marvel Contest of Champions now. There are so many different modes of gameplay, so many different nodes, character matchups, champion synergies, so it's a very complicated game. So just keep in mind that this is a Google spreadsheet, which is a rough guide to my opinion on characters in a mobile video game. So please don't bully me too much in the comments section, and if you want your own opinion, that's completely valid as well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the breakdown. Now, with the December update, we have one of the most visually amazing characters that they've ever added to the game, Spider-Ham. This character is just so much fun to play. The animations, the look and feel of Spider-Ham are just 10 out of 10. He's one of the best characters that they have ever added in visually, but also performance-wise, this character just delivers. He's very different to a lot of existing characters in the game, but I think that's a really good thing. He's got a lot of stuff that's very unique to the character, which makes him like really viable and really good for a lot of different scenarios. Overall, he's just a fantastic champion, but in certain scenarios where other champions like might not really have the utility for, he's got some very odd stuff that works incredibly well for all sorts of stuff. So to talk about some of the pros of Spider-Ham, he has huge amounts of power sting damage. And the thing is, there is bleed immunity, there's poison immunity, there's incinerate immunity, but there's no power sting immunity. So the majority of champions that don't have stuff like debuff immunity or skill champions that shrug off debuffs, he's just absolutely insane for. He can work so well for so many different matchups, and the power sting damage really is massive, because whenever the opponent uses a special attack, the power stings also have up to an 85% chance to refresh themselves based on the amount of nonsense that he has. And if you're managing it well, most of the time he's going to have between like 8 to 10 nonsense, and against Mystic champions, even if you do lose it, it just goes back to 6 if you have the Miles synergy as well, so it's very easy to build up again, and also any special 2 immediately sets it to 10 as well. He also has a mega special 3 that can apply up to 25 power stings, and this is mad. The damage off it is just absolutely phenomenal. And then as well, whenever the opponent uses a special attack, these mega power stings have an 85% chance to refresh. So like once you get to the special 3, and if you line up the combo very well and play aggressively, then yeah, he's just absolutely ridiculous. And also you can pause power stings off the special 1 if you've got an opponent that really isn't like playing ball and playing very aggressively. So yeah, just phenomenal utility there as well. But there is just crazy burst damage off that special 3. He's also the first champion that can go fully immune to degeneration damage, which makes him an excellent counter to characters like Mojo, Dormammu, and also all sorts of very annoying degeneration nodes that do exist in the game. Also Enquiries, he's very, very fun for as well. But there's all sorts of like quirky scenarios, and if you do see any sort of like pure degeneration node in the future, there's something like Variant 1 for example, then yeah, he's just an absolutely outstanding option there. Above 6 nonsense as well, he has a passive 35% chance to evade, but this won't trigger on your parries and kind of like what does it mess them up there? So this is a really nice fail-safe if you do mess up and get hit, because a 35% chance to evade. On average, you're going to evade out in like 2-3 hits there. If you're very lucky, if you do get hit, you might just instantly evade out of it there. So yeah, he's got a really strong base evade, which is a really nice fail-safe for the character if you do mess up, which is always really good to have as well. He also has a very interesting kind of dash back and hold block mechanic that gives you assisted evade to help you dodge tricky special attacks. So we used this in one of the Spider-Ham showcases with like Storm Pyramid X's special too, because that one is very quick, it's very bursty, but it's really hard to dex as well. But with that, he just easily evades it and you can go back in and start nuking. Also, every time he triggers evade as well, he goes unblockable for a second and a bit and also taunts the opponent. So this can help you utilizing that mechanic to get through auto block mechanics and kind of just find ins and openings there. So yeah, it's just really, really nice for a lot of scenarios. But also the taunt is super valuable because again, Spider-Ham is all about being aggressive, kind of getting those power stings stacked up on your opponent and just trying to refresh them as much as possible there, just for massive, massive damage output. But yeah, that's a really fun piece of utility for all sorts of characters. And also I think one of the best parts about him as well is he doesn't need to be awakened to be a really, really good character. The awakened ability does have some nice offensive benefits, but it's mainly for Alliance War defense. And the awakened ability benefits, just for any of you curious on offense, is whenever he evades, he's going to apply a power sting to the opponent, but also increases the duration of his spider nonsense at 10 stacks by up to 2 additional seconds. So these are nice bonuses for him, but he's not completely reliant on the awakened ability. So even unawakened, man, with no synergies, he's still a really, really good champion, although he is a character that I think needs a lot of practice to play, and you need to be a very good player in order to maximize him and take advantage of him. But if you get very confident and very happy with playing Spider-Ham and just leaving yourself open and baiting out special attacks, and you're confident evading those as well, or relying on the assisted evade, again, the damage output is absolutely crazy. I do think in the future, he maybe has potential as well for a Beyond God tier promotion, but I really want to feel like when I do go for that promotion, he's really earned it. So solid God tier, I think, is the perfect place for him to start at the moment, but again, he may get that promotion in the future. I'm definitely not writing it off because I think he's such a fun character to play. He's got great uses for all sorts of matchups and scenarios. I think it depends on what the rest of Act 7 looks like, and if there's any particular bosses and nodes and future content that he just absolutely demolishes there. So yeah, I'm very curious as well to see if people start using Spider-Ham in certain Alliance War fights. I think he might be an interesting option for a lot of top tier defenders. So yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on at the moment, but again, he's so much fun to play, got some very quirky utility as well, so I think solid God tier is the right place for Spider-Ham. Now also we have a promotion. Spider-Gwen has finally been moved to God tier, man. She's belonged in that column, I would say, like ever since I did the tier list revamp mid last year, but she's an absolutely phenomenal character, and I've been watching like Swedish Spider-Gwen videos recently because he's taken the 6-star of the rank 3, and that man is doing work with Spider-Gwen. He's doing some crazy combos against Abyss of Legends Luke Cage, using the special 1, control and the power, and just spamming heavy attacks, and not taking like a single blocked hit, man. Outlast the Enrage. It is just crazy, crazy gameplay, and really shows what Spider-Gwen can you know, potentially do in the hands of a very, very skilled player. So yeah, I think she definitely belongs in God tier. Maybe solid God tier at some point in the future. I want Sweden to convince me though, so I'm very interested, because this Spider-Gwen's unawakened, man. She's still doing work, but she does have a pretty nice benefit from the awakened ability as well. But yeah, that was a really cool video. So that is pretty much it for the December tier list update. Again, it was a very quiet month. We only had Spider-Ham. The new Scarlet Witch was nowhere to be seen, man. I really wanted her to be a playable character. She looks amazing, man. The animations are so incredibly cool, but February we should have a lot more to talk about. Again, we've got the introduction of Strife and Jubilee coming in January, but also at the start of February we're going to have 4 champion buffs to Kingpin, Yellow Jacket, Mole Man, and also Terrax. So I'm very, very excited for that. And if you did miss the what is it, December tier list update. In that, we talked about Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, and again, I still think he's just a very underwhelming champion that requires like so much for the character to be half decent, and he's just not really worth the investment, at least in my opinion. They kind of just made him like Thor Ragnarok. He needs to be like awakened, high sig, have like a full team of synergies, or at least a couple of synergies if you really want to like substantially increase his damage output. So yeah, I'm still very disappointed by the Daredevil buff, man, especially considering it was like a full revamp, only one champion that month, and the Falcon and Gambit buffs the month before were like so much better in comparison. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you did enjoy the first tier list update of the year. Again, sorry it's a little bit of a short one in comparison. Again, not really much happened champion-wise when it did come to December, but I'm very, very excited for the month ahead. Again, February, we're going to have a lot more to talk about with all of these champion buffs. Strife Jubilee, are they going to have even more crazy synergies to mutant characters? That remains to be seen. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy today's update, please do smash that like button. That'd be greatly appreciated. Aside from that, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.